Hey there, Sassies. This is Tyler Garnes, founder and CEO at Box Out Marketing, and it was great to meet you in Fort Lauderdale at the Speak to Sell event with Lisa Sasevich. We didn't have a chance to really interact a ton, and the introduction with Lisa was super quick, so I'll just go through another brief introduction of me. This is the first of a series of 4 videos that I will utilize to help share with you some of the things that we're doing with clients to create ultra personalized experiences using automation. So, anyways, as you know, I'm from Carlsbad, California. This is my wife and I there at the beach, at the harbor. Here are our 3 boys that you heard about. They're now much older than this, and their sister that we adopted. So now our oldest is almost 18. We have a 16-year-old, a 12-year-old, and Aaliyah, our little girl, is 4. She is a ball of energy. She's got more energy than all the boys put together. She's a ton of fun. Our family thing is surfing. I grew up surfing. This is me when I was 16, and our boys are now all on their school surf teams. So this is them competing and winning state champs this last year. So a little bit about me. I started in internet marketing in 1999. I was the former VP of marketing at Infusionsoft. I was at Infusionsoft for about 5 years, and now of course, I'm the founder and CEO of Box Out Marketing. But way back in 1999, 2000, 2001, I was in a sales job at an internet startup. And that internet startup had me doing a job where I spent the whole day searching the internet for potential clients. And I would search the internet, find their contact information, and then reach out to them either by phone or by email and try and engage them in the services that we were selling. Well, I figured out after a little while that that could be automated. And I wrote some code. So this is 1999, year 2000 or so. And I wrote some code to search the internet for me, to search the search engines and crawl the websites and find the phone numbers and the email addresses and reach out to those people automatically. Now, this was a cool, hip startup at the time. And so the purpose behind that, of course, was so that I could go play more ping pong at the ping pong table that was at the office. So I would run this script and it would go and contact all these people for me. I would go play ping pong while that was happening. I'd go play for an hour or so. I'd come back and I would have all these replies to my emails. Now, you might hear that nowadays and say, well, that's just spamming, right? That's just annoying. You might get some of those emails where someone has crawled the internet, found your contact information, and reached out to you. I agree. Maybe you could call me one of the first spammers. I don't know. But the bottom line is, at that moment in time, I got hooked to automation. I loved it. It was so amazing that I could create this little program, run it. It would do my work for me while I went and did something else. And then I could come back and reap the rewards of that work. And back then it didn't feel spammy because so few people were doing this kind of stuff. It was all very new and it was extremely effective. Nowadays, things have evolved. We have these tools that are called marketing automation tools. Infusionsoft is one of those. There are many out there. And the problem is most people utilize these tools now to automate spam, right? And so they take this one message and they automate it, and now it's just, repeated spam message all over the place. And so our inboxes are full. Everyone is just bombarded by all of these promotional messages, and they really aren't hitting home. And so much of the marketing that's out there just isn't effective, partly because of this, spam issue, but mainly it's a mindset issue. And so the very first lesson that I want to teach you is how to change the mindset of how you go about your marketing, which will change everything about the effectiveness. And so the first thing here is to break the list mentality. You are building a list, right? You're building a list of prospects and customers. You're spending effort, time, and money to build that list. You're capturing leads, you're following up with them, all that kind of stuff. And if you're doing this well, you are building a list. But too many people, as they set up their marketing, are thinking about the list. You can actually see it. Go read the emails that are in your inbox. People might say things like, hey guys, blah, 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 blah. Well, they're talking to a list, and that's why they talk in the plural sense to all the people there. And then other people might phrase things in a way that you can tell they're talking to a group of people. So that doesn't feel very personal and it just doesn't hit home. So, what I want you to do is take a step back and focus on the individuals. Now, I mentioned this when we were together, when I was on stage with Lisa, but this exercise that I've created called the Power of One is the most powerful way to go about this. So, this is essentially the end of video one, but what I'm going to invite you to do is take a minute to go through this exercise. And here's how you do it. Basically, sit down in a quiet room and get out a piece of paper or on your computer a document where you can take notes. Focus on your favorite customer. This needs to be a real person, okay? Your favorite customer. And imagine to yourself if the entire success of your business was dependent on that one person being a successful customer or a successful client, how would you treat them? And then take a step back from there and start from the very beginning. How do you attract that person? How do you communicate with them when they are first interested? How do you follow up with them when they're a lead? How do you have a sales conversation with that one person? How do you follow up as a new customer? How do you make them feel very welcomed to your business and your processes? How do you follow up to upsell them and offer continuing services or continuing value for them? How do you turn them into a lifelong fan? Again, the reason we do this is because when you only have one customer, you will have no restraints or no constraints, I should say. You'll have no constraints, no financial constraints, and no time constraints. So you can spend all the time in the world on this person. You can spend all the money in the world on this person because if they're successful, your business will be successful, right? So that's the exercise. Why do we do this? Because as soon as we remove those constraints and we focus on the individual, one, the message gets a little more clear, and two, we create a really, really amazing experience. So I want you to document that experience. What does it look like every step of the way? What do you do? How do you follow up? Do you send them a birthday cake on their birthday? Do you send them a card when they become a customer? What are all of the little things that you would do every step along the way of the entire customer experience from the first moment that they hear about you until their deathbed, right? Because they're going to become a lifelong fan. What does that experience look like in detail? Document all of that. Now, again, the reason is to create the most amazing experience. From there, you can then take a step back and say, okay, how do I actually implement this? How can I start automating this particular amazing experience? And if you can start automating an experience that's close to what you've defined, then you're going to have a really, really powerful experience that you're going to put your customers through. So that's exercise number one, video number one. Go ahead and do that now, and then stay tuned for video number two.